Hi, everyone. It's me, Rita J. And I've been thinking about how I wanted to, or I should say, why I want to tell you this story in the next segment. Because it kind of didn't turn out the way you would expect. And that is because I now understand that miracles just happen because there are entities out in the universe that have set out to help us. We call them angels, we call them whatever is a good word for you to call them. But when you put an intention, you set an intention by your prayers or your request or just your intense need for some kind of assistance in your life, I believe that things start to develop in the universe and the dots start to connect and the event has been orchestrated without you. Your intention alone created the event. And I'm saying this because sometimes you ask for help and you're not ready for it. You think you're ready for it. You think you want the help. You know something in your life is wrong and it needs to be fixed, but you're not ready. And you'll see what I mean when I tell you what happened. Okay, so in 1983, um, in Chicago, I was married by now, and my husband was 47 and I was 18 when we got married. Yeah, I said it. He was 47 and I was 18. So, believe me, there's a lot of stories I could tell you about that, but I'm going to tell you about one in particular. I had come to a point in my life where I was tired of the abuse and I really wanted to just leave. But I was afraid and I didn't know how I was going to do it. I had, at this point, my third child had just been born. He was my second son. And he was about 2 months old. And we lived in an apartment on the near west side of Chicago. My oldest child, my daughter, was about 5, and she had just started kindergarten. And the kindergarten where I lived on a street. I'm trying to remember the street. I think it was Low. I'm not sure. But in either case, there was an elementary school 1 block from my house. And I could actually see into the front door of the school building from my stoop right on the stairs. And, so at the beginning of the school year, I took my daughter to school every morning. I walked her. I would bundle the baby up and go. And I met other parents doing the same thing, walking the kids this block. And I remember meeting this little boy. He was the cutest little thing, but he was like dedicated. He knew he had to get to school and he had nobody with him. And I used to ask him all the time. I remember he never would tell me his name, but I used to ask him all the time, why are you going to school by yourself? And you're coming from way back there somewhere, like, I don't know how many blocks away, and nobody's with you. And it really kind of concerned me. Um, but he never missed a day, and he always just kind of blended in with the other children and made his way to school. So about mid-year, my daughter had gotten kind of used to the routine, and I had made friends with a neighbor lady one of the kids' parents who lived right around the corner from me. For the sake of this story, let's just call her Pam. Pam had a couple of kids, and she lived in a basement apartment on the next block. And so quite often I would share with her what I was going through, and that my husband was violent, uh, and she used to say, "You're so young, you shouldn't have to go through all of that." And I didn't know any better. But at one point it got really serious, and I said, "I can't take this another day. I got to get out of here." And so I started praying for help. And when I tell you I was praying for help, I mean, I was going through rituals and lighting candles and burning incense and praying to the gods and the spirits and the ancestors and anybody who would help me. And one particular day in the afternoon, I was waiting for my daughter to come home. And it was about, well, let me back up. First, let me tell you this. The neighbor, Pam, told me she was about to move. And she says, "I know you want to get out of there. I know you want to get away from him." That crazy man, she called it. So she said, "I talked to my landlord, and I'm going to leave my deposit for you. And all you have to do is come up with $195. And when I move out, you can pay him the $195 and you can move right in. And it'll be smooth. And back then there was no credit checks or any of that stuff." Wow, this sounded awesome to me. This sounded like a great escape plan. Only I didn't work. I didn't know where I was going to get $195 from. That sounded like $1,000,000 to me. But I was hopeful. So now fast forward to the day that I'm waiting for my daughter to come home from school. So it's probably close to 3 o'clock. And I decided, we're way into past mid-year. She was coming home by herself with the group. And I just kind of sat in the window and watched for her, because I literally could see her come out of her door and come home. And I did that, every day. Well, this particular day, she was nowhere to be found. And I looked and I watched and I was like, "Oh, shoot, what happened to my child?" So the baby was sound asleep. And I wrapped him up with the blanket and I left him up, I would never do it now, but back then I left him in the bed and I came in his little crib, and I came down the staircase because I thought if I come outside, maybe I would see her from an angle that I couldn't see her in the window. So as I was coming down the stairs, I see that little boy, the same little boy that was always by himself. And the little boy said to me, "Hey, lady." I was like, "Yeah?" He said, "Come here. I found something. It's yours." Those were his words. He said, "I found something and it's yours." And he pointed to the ground. He said, "Look, right there." Now, mind you, the little boy didn't come close to me. He didn't touch me. But I know it was him. He pointed. He said, "Right there." And I looked, and right beside a tree was a wad of cash. I reached down, and I snatched that money up off the ground, and I stuck it in my pocket real quick. Because, I'm thinking, it's drug money. And the drug man dropped his money, and then he going to come back looking for it. So I better hide it real quick and get the hell out of here. So I turned around real quick to say something to the little kid, and he was gone. And when I tell you he was gone, I am telling you that for a clear distance of at least 3 blocks, I could see if this kid had gone anywhere. If he had turned the corner, if he had gone down, I would have seen him. He couldn't run that fast. And he basically he went poof. When I tell you he went poof, he disappeared, he was gone. The kid was gone. And I thought, okay, back to, at hand, the kid. Where's my kid? So I turned around and I started to head towards the corner. Before I could get to the corner, here comes from the other side of the street, Pam. And she has my daughter's hand and her daughter, and she's walking up to me. And I'm like, well, how did she get with you? And she says to me, I don't understand it, but your daughter came to my house with my kids, and she was in some kind of like daze, some kind of trance state. She didn't know where she was going or why, but she just ended up at my house. And I said, girl, your mama gonna be mad. Let me take you home. And so I was like, okay, that was strange. And I got her. I said, you okay? She said, yeah, I'm okay. So we went in the house, went upstairs. I told her, go to your room and, get ready for lunch, your homework and everything. And I run into my room because I remember I got this cash in my pocket, right? So I reach in my pocket, I go to the side and I start counting this money. 185, 86, 87, 88, 89, 90, 1, 2, 3, 4, $195 exactly. 195, not 196, not 200, $195 cash. I stood there and I cried and I was like, oh my God, I can leave. I can leave. I was astounded. And as I put the pieces together, I realized this little boy had to be an angel. Because remember, I never touched him. He never touched me. I saw him. He told me, this is for you. He pointed to it. And then, poof, he disappeared. Okay, so maybe you don't believe it, but I'm telling you, it happened. It happened to me. An angel brought me $195. Okay, so here's the part of the story you got to hear about. It was a miracle. It was straight a fantastic miracle, one that should be in a movie. But my psyche was so messed up and so not ready that when my husband came home, I had talked myself in and out, and in and out, and in and out. And when he came home, I was terrified again. Because I figured, okay, so how am I going to tell him, how am I going to do this without him knowing? And I'm thinking if I'm only a block away, he's going to find me and he's going to kill me. And I was terrified and I wasn't ready. I just wasn't ready. So the miracle happened anyway, but I wasn't ready. And yeah, sad part is I told him I found the money outside and he took it from me. All of it. All of it. I wasn't ready. I just wasn't ready. And I have to tell you, subsequent to that, a couple months later, another event, not so dramatical, but pieces fell into place where I had another opportunity to move. And this time there were no excuses. I couldn't say that he could find me. This was, miles away. I didn't have a car, but the apartment was across the street from a major grocery store like Jewel Grand Bazaar or something. And it was right next to the hospital where I took my kids to the clinic. And I was right on a major transportation line. I had no excuses at all, other than the fact that I was terrified, I was afraid, and I wasn't ready. But the universe continued to try. The universe continued to offer me up the blessings, and I wasn't ready. But boy, when I get ready to tell you what happened when I was ready and the way it turned out, you're going to understand what miracles are really all about. Okay, so that's it for now. Signing off. I'm going to translate some of this into script and post it for those who want to read it. But I think you get a little more of what I'm trying to tell you about listening to the video. And that's it. Signing off for now. I will talk to you again soon. Thanks. Bye.